Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Burgle Thought. And today, on October, Friday the 13th, I'm here to bring you something not scary or spooky or weird in any kind of way. In fact, I'm going to bring you something quite enjoyable. Last week was New York ComicCon. It was vibrant, it was beautiful, it was crowded as all heck, but I enjoyed myself. I took video of the panels, cosplayers, had a few interviews here and there, got a few autographs, and for me, most importantly, the 90s were alive. I picked up the Darkwing Duck graphic novel, the first issue anyway, and got it signed. And I also made it to the Nickelodeon Hey Arnold panel. That's right, Hey Arnold's returning. Real quick, for those of you not in the know, Hey Arnold was a slice of life cartoon about the titular Arnold, who was a kind-hearted young man who liked to help people, and all of his weird friends. His best friend Gerald, and of course, the pain of his existence, Helga, the school bully, who was actually secretly in love with him. It was a fun show, and I'm told you can watch it on one of Nickelodeon's side channels. Splat, I believe, but you have to look up, you have to check for that, I'm not too sure. Fact is, it's been gone for many years, and after all these years, they're returning. Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, explaining what happened to Arnold's parents, what's going to happen to him, what's going to happen to Helga, etc. and etc. And that's what this video is for. This video is the Hey Arnold Jungle Movie panel. It's about 25 minutes, guys, so sit back, relax. But for those of you who just want to skip to the end and check out the trailer, it's right there. Just follow that timestamp. Click that timestamp, or if YouTube won't let you click it, just fast forward the video. It's not that hard. Just fast forward it, and you'll find the trailer at the end of the panel. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we?
So I am thrilled, I am so excited to welcome to the stage the familiar faces that you know and love from the original Hey Arnold. Let's kick it off with the series creator. Everything that we love about this show came from his brilliant mind. Please welcome to the stage, Craig Bartlett. However you know him, please welcome to the stage the kindest, most wonderful person in the world, Lane Torrin. All right, next up, she redefined the unibrow. She is everyone's favorite. Please welcome the brilliant, she's everything that you want her character to be in real life and more, Francesca Marie Smith. Next up, please welcome, she's smart, she's charming, she's just as brilliant as her character, the wonderful Andy McAfee. And last, but certainly not least, let's clap for her because we're out of music. Let's please welcome to the stage. I'm so glad to tell you that she's, the only similarity she really has to her character, Rhonda, is that she's also gorgeous, fashionable, and secret, just so kind. Please welcome Olivia Hack. Get comfortable. We've got a lot to unpack here. Just like a lot. So let's start it off with Craig.
Okay.
Okay, Craig. So, how did we get here? Like, how did we get the Jungle movie? Why now? How did it come to be? This is 15 years later. Walk me through it.
This is great. We can't believe how cool this is to be doing this in front of this audience. It makes me glad we waited. Even though it was painful, and I apologize for that cliffhanger ending in the journal that we heard about it. It was painful, I'm sorry. But this is your therapy session right now. So, I purposefully did that. I put that cliffhanger ending where Arnold finds the map at the end of the journal because I was daring Nickelodeon and Paramount not to make the Jungle movie. But, you know, we didn't. We got canceled. I spent the next decade wandering in the wilderness, making a couple other shows, and staying in touch with my friends here, these lovely people who played the characters in the first place. And around, I don't know, about 4 years ago, things just had changed at the Nickelodeon studio. There was some new administration. A lot of the people who were working at Nick were, you know, 25 to 35. And when they asked the people who worked at Nick what they'd like to be working on, they said, why don't you bring back Hey Arnold? And at the same time, as you know, the fans were doing a lot of petitions and starting websites. And there's been a wonderful little invention since we made the show called, you know, the social media.
The social media.
The interwebs. And I think that was a huge influence, so thank you. Thank you for trying so hard, and that is why we're here.
So is this the original idea that you had when the series ended? Has it changed at all?
It's changed a lot. That's a great question. I originally realized I had to deal with Arnold's missing parents. I'd been very glib about it when I pitched the series in the first place. I said they were some kind of documentarians off making nature films, and that's why Arnold was living with his grandparents. But we got about 60 episodes in, and I realized that was really not enough of an answer, because they weren't writing or anything, and it seemed really like they were jerks. So on purpose, I wrote Parents' Day to introduce the audience to them and to explain how they had disappeared and show that they were really nice and great people. But that just made it worse. Then they were missing, and it was really sad. And so by the time we got to the end of the series...
I think we just got to pause for a second. Some Monkey Man's up there. I think that's eliciting a response from the audience.
Monkey Man! Hi, Monkey Man. So that was, you know, we made the journal. It was meant to be a prequel to further make you love his parents and want them to get together. And I put the map at the end. And so that story was many, many years in the making. And when I got this opportunity to make the Jungle movie now, I started from scratch again and we rewrote it completely. Just because I'd had another decade, I was really aware of how fans felt about it. So it's more meta than ever. It sort of checks every box. That's what was my intention, to be as satisfying as possible.
What's been the best part about returning to these characters? Abner!
Oh, there's Abner.
Abner!
Yeah, the slides you're seeing now are the characters that I play. I'm going to be Abner, Brainy.
The whole animal cast.
Yeah, I'm going to play all the animals.
And the best part is about returning to this, like, what's been the best part about returning to these characters who you haven't got to revisit in, you know, about 15 years?
It's so fun. The world has changed so much, so to go back and revisit these characters, have the opportunity to be back with these people again is such a blast. Recording the show was always my favorite thing. I love going into the studio and spending those hours with the actors, turning the script into the performances. It was always my favorite part. So we got to do it so much. We spent a whole year in and out of the studio recording and just revisiting all this stuff over and over.
One of my favorite things that you told me that I didn't realize was that when you guys were young and you were first recording the show, you used to record it like a radio show, like all in the same room.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I would love to hear from you guys a little bit about that experience. I know it was a long time ago, but that's just how cool and communal.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was like playtime for us because, you know, we're kids, we're like 12, 13, even younger actually. So yeah, we got together and it was just fun.
One of the things that happens is sometimes they have to share mics because there are just so many people in the recording studio, and it's, you know, the jostling for position, and it's physical, it's fun, we're riffing off of each other. I'm a little competitive, so there was a little bit of that going on.
She was first on the mic, for sure.
And it is really special. I mean, a lot of the time when you do animation, you're doing it by yourself, no one's reading the lines back to you, and it affects performance. And so as kids, you know, we're not finely tuned actors yet, so it definitely helped, I think, all of our performances.
And it's just fun.
Just really fun.
It really felt deeply familial, not just with the cast. We all spent a lot of time together. Yeah, it was what, like every Thursday we would get together and we'd sort of have a little bit of on-set school time.
Speak for yourself. I wasn't in school anymore.
For those of us who thieves, who
How old are you?
studies. And Tori and I were friends. We would see each other a fair amount outside. We'd all hang out a bit, and it really, I mean, especially for me, being what, 9 to about 15 or something, those are such incredibly formative years to be able to spend with these people and also with the writers and the rest of the creative team. It really, you know, for better or worse, shaped who I am today in so many ways.
For better.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, it shaped us all as well, similar ages. So it's very, very cool. Do you guys remember your auditions for the show?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
I remember I actually didn't even audition for Arnold. I auditioned for like a reoccurring part. And then I guess someone heard my voice and was like, oh,
That's Arnold.
Do you remember who you auditioned for?
it might have been Stinky.
I'm glad you know.
That would be that voice right now as Stinky.
Thank you so much.
Just say it.
Such a compliment.
I love lemon pudding. Go
I
ahead.
love lemon pudding.
I don't remember my audition, but we all had to re-audition for our voices this time, just to kind of make sure we hadn't been chain smoking for 20 years or any of that. And so that was a little nerve-wracking, right? So to get that call that we booked it and everything, that was great.
I remember my audition. I was there with a bunch of other kids auditioning for other roles, and when I went in to read Phoebe, I just had a couple lines, and she really wasn't developed at all at that point. And I didn't know exactly what voice to do for her because she didn't have a lot to her at the moment. And so when I first started doing Phoebe, it was a little bit more like this. It was a little raspy. They wanted me to be different than Francesca. And so when I booked it and I went in to record the very first Phoebe lines, she started out a little bit more like this. And if you look at the first few episodes, that is her voice. But then as our characters developed, and there was a relationship there, and I realized that Phoebe's just much more comfortable being the sidekick, and she supports Helga, and she doesn't want to be the center of attention, and her voice started getting a little bit higher. And that's how her voice remained throughout the entire series. But it was a process.
I did a very first audition with my agent,
Right.
and we came into you guys. Recall that?
Yeah, we used the recording studio at Ren and Stimpy to do those auditions in 94. And Francesca didn't realize this. I told her that this morning. When she came in, I was busy. I had the call sheet, and I was looking at the names of the people who were going to be coming in to read. And she started reading her scene. It was the scene from the pilot, and it was an explosive one. It was when she was yelling at Arnold. And I heard this voice coming through the glass. I'm like, what? Who's that? And she was so little, I had to stand up a little taller to see it. And I was like, well, we found our Helga. And we built the cast. I mean, I've been pitching to Nickelodeon that we would use kids, real kids. And then I thought, well, there's our real kid. We're going to make sure it's all kids for sure, you know? And that was great. It was a great moment.
Re-auditioned for your roles this time around, and Lane, this time you're not voicing Arnold, correct?
No, I mean, everyone knew I couldn't do it. I was recast like ages ago anyways. So.
We brought him back as Wolfgang.
There he is right there.
Oh yeah, so
Oh, and
Also,
wait,
really the
who's
first time I've seen
this?
this.
Who's this guy?
So in the movie, I play Che, and I guess can we reveal?
I think you can reveal this now.
This is a secret. Che is actually Olga's love interest.
He's very suave.
Can you tell? Yes, he's So Olga's back.
Olga's back.
Olga's
With a
back.
vengeance.
Yeah, she's, imagine you're Helga and you get to go to the jungle with Arnold and then surprise, your big sister's coming as a student teacher / chaperone. We thought that would be funny, we continue to enjoy torturing Helga.
Poor Helga. So did you give...
Oh yeah, stay on that slide for a second. He came in dressed as describes his character.
I did this on purpose, just for you guys.
I love it. Exactly.
This is it. He's just in the crowd. It's not going to be a giant role, but
Where are the tattoos? Yeah, he doesn't even say anything, does he?
he's part of the wall, no doubt.
It's really scary. It's really
They
scary.
missed the tattoos. I apologize.
Can we do another movie so I can be a hipster? Hipster version. So wait, did you give so the new voice of Arnold? He's young. Mason Bell Cotton. He's very young.
Mason is awesome, and everyone is going to love Mason. Yeah.
Did you give him any advice going in?
You know,
Did
I didn't even meet him until after the recording was done. But when I first heard his voice, this might sound weird, but he almost sounded more like me than I do. If that makes sense. It's like spot on. It's awesome.
Super cool. Super cool. So Francesca, I feel like it's time for us to talk about Helga.
That's the slide.
Oh,
I mean, she's in the audience too. We've got.
I know.
I saw some.
You look awesome.
Yeah, do we have more Helgas? Is anyone else dressed up? I hear there was a costume up Helga.
Yeah. You look great.
Old Dusty 5 Avengers making an appearance. I like it. Well done.
Well, Helga's become just an iconic character. I feel like she's grown, like her presence has grown, her influence has grown over the years since the series ended, and she's become this kind of like women see her as a bit of a trailblazer as far as how women are represented in animation. What has that been like for you to kind of carry that and to speak to that for the past 15 years? Just a light question to kick things off.
That's a softball. Thanks. At the time, and maybe this is just me, maybe this is a child actor thing, maybe it was just sort of the era. I didn't really have a great sense of how Helga was landing, right? That she was really that she was meaningful to people, that she would continue to be so influential. You know, we didn't have the social media on the interwebs. We didn't really do press. We did a couple of exclusives, but we didn't, even at things like the Big Help or Kids' Choice Awards, and there's a throwback, well, the Big Help's a throwback, right? Even at things like that, we didn't really have the same interaction to hear what people were thinking. We just sort of, the ratings were good and it seemed like things were okay, so we just kept doing our thing. And it probably wasn't until the last 5 to 10 years that I started getting some of this feedback from people on the social media, and at USC, where I'm doing my PhD, they have these invited talks, these lectures, and there was one that I'm pretty sure was called "Move It, Football Head."
Yeah.
And
Invited me to that.
And the subtitle was something like "Representations of Bullying Among Young Females in Animation." And I had a little bit of an existential crisis. I invited Craig, we went, and it's something that I care about very much as an academic and as a human being, right? That we're sending good messages, that we're doing good representations. So when there was this talk raising the question of how young women in particular are shown role models on television and whether this is kind of like an absolutely horrible, bullying, terrible thing, it made me think a lot about, well, what did we really do? And how does that align with all these wonderful things that I'm hearing from fans? And I think where I've landed is that, yes, obviously a lot of the things that Helga does, largely for the sake of comedy, are things that you wouldn't want to do in real life. I will grant that. But I do think that there was definitely something about her character at the same time that was tapping into an unspoken truth for a lot of people, right? That's what I'm hearing. That even you were saying Geraldine Laybourne was talking about how Helga represented who she was as a kid in a way that really wasn't out there.
Geraldine was our boss at Nickelodeon.
Yeah, which, by the way, is why Helga G. Pataki is Helga Geraldine.
Helga Geraldine Pataki.
So I think that's a very long-winded answer to your question, right? Like, I think there's something that, I'm going to guess for a lot of you too, right?
Yeah,
Helga was
a great
saying
character.
something
Right?
to you. So that feels awesome, right? Like, to the degree that we could give someone something to relate to, especially for the tougher times, like dealing with parents or big sisters or football-headed people.
Yeah, I just think that deserves a round of applause. That was such a fantastic girl answer. It's like you're an academic or something. It's like you're in higher education.
She studies this.
I don't almost. Also, I have to ask. So when I interviewed Craig 2 years ago at San Diego ComicCon, I asked him. I was like, what do you think Helga is up to today? Like, what in this world, what would she be up to? And he said that she would be President of the United States.
The first female president of the United States with the power to see through walls.
So, how do you feel about that, Francesca? What do you think?
Now I don't want her to be the president. I think it's such a terrible job. But go ahead and answer the question, Francesca.
You're really giving me softball.
I know, I'm sorry.
So much.
I know you can handle it. You're an educated
I feel
woman.
like I need to make a political, a Trump speech here. A stump speech, not Trump speech. Let's not do that. So, I think there's a lot going on in the world today that Helga would probably have strong opinions about. I think that she had very strong feelings as a child, and to the degree that she grows up and becomes more and more self-aware of herself, but also the larger world, I think it's very likely that she would turn that intellect and those opinions and that passion towards something that looks like activism, right? Commentary. I could definitely see her as kind of like a buzzy blog writer on some very millennial friendly social media outlet, probably a little edgy, probably a little aggressive, not afraid to tell it like it is.
So she would become you.
She might be.
Stop it. Stop this. But seriously, best moment of my life. It's fine. Moving right along, so Andy, sweet Andy, who is actually, I've learned, absolutely nothing like Phoebe. Like, you guys are polar opposites in so many ways. You're very extroverted, you're very outspoken. Just learned that Andy was actually a Boy Scout when she was younger, that she joined the Boy Scouts.
I changed the spelling of my name to A-N-D-Y, and I joined the Boy Scouts of America until they found out and kicked me out.
The best story.
So if we talk about that competitive thing that I had growing up.
So I would love to know, how did you kind of get into Phoebe's skin? And then how did you get back into her skin now, 15 years later?
So like I was saying earlier, her voice started a little bit different. They just wanted me to sound different than the Helga character. And as I started to develop her character, it's a physical thing for me.
Because I think Phoebe rounds her shoulders out a little bit, so I just sort of start doing that.
And so I can get into her when I start here, but in the Jungle movie, Phoebe, I mean, you've seen her new outfit? She's a little more
Stepping out.
So just bring the shoulders back up a little bit. Oh, there.
She seems to be the most updated costume, correct?
She's still Phoebe.
I like that one tune from the bottom right. That's a very confident Phoebe pose.
Yeah, but you can still see in some of them, she still does this a little bit. I think just Phoebe is just, she's not the center of attention. And I am not that comfortable being the center of attention. I'm gregarious and I love people and I love talking and I'll talk to anybody. But I don't like when there's like, this is a little weird for me because when there's a lot of people, I get a little bit kind of shy. But, so we have that in common, I think, but nothing else. Oh, maybe, I mean, I did get my master's degree and I was a little bit
You're both
into academics
intellectuals.
as well. Yeah. And the perfectionist thing. I think we're both perfectionists. But other than that, I'm not really a sidekick kind of girl.
So if the passage of time between the show and the real life was real, Phoebe would be like 25, 26 now. So what do you think that she would be up to?
I think Phoebe would be she would program some sort of app that would make lives easier for people. I think she'd just be behind the scenes programming away something very logical, something where just a couple of close friends working together at a startup. I totally think she'd be doing her thing there. And maybe making an app for Helga, for her presidential campaign.
These outfits are so fantastic. Look at this. She's in
That's her
shorts, you
jungle
guys.
look.
I mean, come on.
Jungle outfit.
And it stays immaculately clean through the whole story. The only one.
No, speaking of outfits, Olivia. Okay, so here's Rhonda.
She has the biggest outfit.
She looks great. She does. I'm waiting for the big one that
We get to see the Jungle movie.
we're gonna have to unpack.
These slides we're going to see here shows that Rhonda suffers hair disasters one after another on this journey.
She really goes through it.
She's really weak.
Look
That's her outfit when this is her outfit when she's just getting on the plane, heading to San Lorenzo.
Uptown.
Yeah, she's styling it first.
Oh my God, I'm just waiting for it. You guys are gonna die.
Then
There it is.
Then the humidity gets gets to her, and the hat flies off, and she gets this. This is pretty far into the journey. She's lost one shoe, and things are getting muddy. It's not
Love
good.
it. We haven't seen any of this.
Tragic, so tragic.
And the last slide, she suffers an accident and loses the top half
Right,
of
do
her
we
head.
need to talk? Do we have an issue? Is there a problem here?
I have no problem with you.
Just making sure.
But we do put Ron through some changes. It's just fun, you know, it's a story like this. I'll just put it this way. All the characters are taken way out of their comfort zone and put to the test. So Rhonda's just her hair that's put to the test. You get off easy.
So Olivia, you talked about auditioning for the role again. So when you went back in to read for Rhonda, how do you think that she's going to develop in this movie from where we saw her when the series ended? It's only been a year in the movie, like she's going to 6th grade now.
Yeah. I mean, Rhonda is she's a little stuck in her ways, right? I think maybe, you know, in 20 years, she needs to be large and in charge, right? So hopefully she's running a Fortune 500 company or something.
That sounds good.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
But she's got a cell phone now, so that's a little different. I know, and I think it's done in a really great way. Bob's Beepers is still.
Yeah, we thought the whole technology question, you know, it's really 15 years later, so we just acknowledged it by making sure Rhonda, of course, took a smartphone to the jungle and was trying to post, you know, pictures.
And that goes through some pieces.
Yeah, even the phone goes through changes. But yeah, we had a really funny gag about the beepers, because beepers were already an anachronism in the 90s, and so we thought it'd be funny if Big Bob's Beepers had fallen on hard times, and there was a giant, like, everything must go sale sign out front. But good news, at the end of the movie, beepers have somehow come back. The hipsters are using beepers, ironically. And so, of course, Big Bob, he bounces back. The Patakis are back. Yeah, you know, he'll do fine.
I feel like that's less catchy. Big Bob's cell phones. Someone's like, I've got it, hire me. Like, I've got the new name for it. But we have a bit of a treat for you guys. This is a pretty big deal. And no one has seen this yet. No one in the cast, except for Craig, has even seen what you guys are about to see. So I'm going to throw it over to Craig to introduce this properly.
So we're going to show you the first trailer.
Where are you?
Class, we've been selected to go to San Lorenzo. We won!
Isn't it the same San Lorenzo where your parents disappeared?
Ronald, this is just a school trip. How about you finding your parents?
How can you not try to find your lost parents, especially since you've got your best friend to help? Arnold! I mean, hair boy! Arnold! I thought you hated him. Why are you suddenly helping him?
Oh, is there a toilet on this boat?
Oh boy. Did you wash your hands? I haven't seen my parents since I was a baby. I wish I could see them again. Why didn't you just tell me? I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. Please, do you know what they are?
So that's that, guys. The Hey Arnold Jungle movie coming soon. I'm excited. You should be excited. If you haven't seen Hey Arnold, or if you're too young to even know what the heck it is, go look it up. It is quite nice. And once again, stay tuned for future videos from ComicCon coming up shortly. And as always, guys, I am Dante. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.